Hey, this is Mitch at Keeping the Vows, and welcome to part 6 of this 6-part series on forgiveness. At Keeping the Vows, we're all about helping people to discover and then maintain a Christ-like marriage. And we know that forgiveness is just imperative to have if you're going to have a successful marriage and successful relationship. Hey, I love to tell stories. That's okay. Jesus was a storyteller. I just really enjoy it. Today I want to tell you a great story about forgiveness. There were two brothers, and each one of them farmed, and they lived on hills, and between them there was a low valley between their farms on the property line there. And the two brothers got along in everything. They shared everything. They shared their machinery, they shared their crops, they shared the seed, they shared the livestock, labor, everything back and forth. They got along great. One day something was said, and it hurt the other, and it grew into something bigger and bigger, and before long they weren't even speaking. Well, that grew until finally they couldn't stand to even see each other. One day the older brother was at home and he heard a knock on the door. And he went to the door, and it was a traveling carpenter with his toolbox. And the carpenter says, "Can I do anything for you?" And he said, "Yes, you can. Come out here." So the older brother took the carpenter out to the edge of the barn and said, "You see that house and barn over there?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "You see that creek that's newly dug between our properties and the low spot?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "My brother dug that creek because he's so upset he doesn't even want us to go back and forth there." So he said, "What it is, when I'm in my house and I look out, I see my brother's property, and I don't want to look and see his house and barn or anything. So I bought these timbers and I bought this lumber, and what I want to do is build a wall at the end of my barn, so when I'm in my house and I look out, I don't have to see my brother's place. Can you do that?" And the man said, "Sure." The man said, "Well, I have to go to town. It's going to take overnight. I won't be back till tomorrow night. Can you work at it?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll work at it." So the next day, the farmer comes home, and just as he does, the carpenter's walking around the corner of the barn, and the farmer says, "You get it done?" And he said, "Yes, all done." And so he walks around the corner of the barn, and the farmer is absolutely shocked because there's no wall. Instead, the carpenter has taken all the timber and all the lumber, and he drug it down to the low spot, to the creek, where there was a lane that used to go through there. And instead, he used that, and he built a bridge across the creek to his brother's property. And the farmer was absolutely astounded. And he went down there to the bridge, and he looked at it. It was a nice bridge. It had nice handrails. It was very well made. And as the older brother was just astonished, he looked up. Here came the younger brother across the bridge. And they looked at each other, they hugged, they embraced, and they forgave one another. As the older brother turned around, the carpenter was walking away without pay. And the older brother says, "Wait a minute, I have other things for you to do. I have other jobs." And the carpenter says, "No, I have many other bridges to build." So the moral of the story is this: as you go through life, are you going to be a wall builder, or are you going to be a bridge builder? Well, we just read the scripture a little while ago, a couple lessons ago, and we know what God would have us to do. God would have us to be a bridge builder. He would have us to take that wrong and make it right. He would have us take something that seems unforgivable and forgive it. Remember, the power of Jesus Christ is so much more vast, it's so much more enormous than what you realize. And if you'll ask God to forgive you, and then ask Him to help you forgive others, I guarantee you the pathway of forgiveness will be started. And I believe people can be forgiven for anything. I just watched a video this week where a police officer, a young lady police officer, got in the wrong apartment and thought it was hers. Instead, she shot a man in the apartment, and it was his apartment. She went to court. She was a police officer. She got sentenced to 10 years in prison. And in court, the brother of that young man said, "I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for my brother, but I don't hate you. I love you in Jesus, and I wish you Jesus more than anything else. If anything could come of this, I wish you Jesus." And he went on to say that, "I forgive you, and I don't even want you to go to prison." Think about that kind of forgiveness. That's the kind of forgiveness that God can give us. Remember, the best marriages forgive. I invite you to think of people that you know that you're having trouble forgiving and apply what you've learned in these 6 lessons. It could only help to start down that pathway to forgive. And also, every single one of us knows of people who have trouble forgiving. Share this with them. If you would, like this. If you would, share it with other people. If you want a list of the different things that were done in this series, remember you can go to keepingthevows.com. Everything here is in writing. You'll be able to experience it there and see the list of those scriptures and all the different things that we've done. Everything done here is pretty much done there. Have a wonderful day. I hope this series has been helpful. Make sure you write. Let me know. God bless.